You said your sister has a different,
Experience.
yeah, experience with your adoption. And you said, you know, like, kind of, it's kind of an off limits conversation, but I'm sure she's expressed that. What was her experience with your adoption?
So for me, being adopted, it was pressure to be perfect in a way that meant that I could fit in and be loved. And there's a whole other layer of abuse that was happening in my house that had nothing to do with the adoption. But I think even the adoption itself would have created this situation where I felt very different and othered, and pressure to fit into the family. And what my sister felt was, everybody thinks Emily's the golden child. Nobody loves me enough because I was an afterthought. And that is, I think she's accurate in that. And I think that dynamic that they placed on us meant, because it was always, the narrative was, we waited for you forever. We prayed for you. We tried to get pregnant. We couldn't get pregnant. And then a miracle happened. And my OBGYN told me that there was this girl that was pregnant and she was looking to place the baby. And I don't know that she wouldn't have used my parents wouldn't have used those words because those are more common adoption words. But to my family, I was prayed for and I was wanted and I was loved and I was needed and I was going to complete the family. And for Casey, my mom thought she was a tumor for a while and told everyone that. And so told me that. And I'm sure I teased Casey about it growing up because kids are mean. And
Right.
Siblings are jerks.
Yeah. Yeah. Siblings are the worst.
And I think from Casey's experience, nothing she ever did was going to be good enough to meet this golden child expectation. So I was living up to this unreasonable expectation, and she was also living up to my unreasonable expectation. But those experiences are different. And I think it meant that we fought more than typical siblings. I mean, I guess I don't know, but I think it made an additional layer of anger and resentment that didn't need to be there. And it carried through. I mean, she's about to be 42 and we don't talk that often. And, you know, we'll go through waves of being really close, but it doesn't last long because there's so much history.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're not angry with each other. We just can't be close to each other.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that happens in sibling relationships. So with that dynamic of you being the golden child, I'm sure there was, like in most sibling households, there's some type of rivalry. You're a very accomplished person. I ran down your degrees and the fact that you're a partner in a law firm now. So that means you probably did well in school. Were there competitions, especially with you guys basically being the same age? So you probably were in the same grade depending on when her birthday falls. So were there competition in grades and sports and all that type of stuff?
Yeah, 100%. So what my parents did when we were young is they put us both in a private school so that I could test into the grade above me that I was too young for, because my birthday was past the date, so that Casey and I wouldn't be in the same grade. But the problem with that is Casey and I made similar grades, but I was always a grade ahead of her, and we were the same age. And then I graduated high school early, so I went to college 2 years earlier than she did, and we were the same grade. And the trope was always, well, Emily's got A pluses, you only have A minuses, or you have B pluses, or Emily got this award at school, or Emily's valedictorian, you're only top 20% of the class, or 10%, or whatever she was. You're never going to be as smart as Emily. You're never going to be as good as Emily. And I don't think that that's true. I think my sister is brilliant, but that was absolutely the narrative in the house.
That was a narrative that was actually spoken, or was that unspoken?
Oh no, it was spoken. It was definitely spoken to me and to her.
Wow.
So,
and this is your parents saying this.
And yes. And there's already a dynamic of pitting us against each other in this like Emily's the golden child narrative. But then it not just in favoring me like in that way that everybody knows somebody's favored, but nobody says it out loud. No, it was definitely said out loud by grandparents, by my parents. And I, looking back on it, my dad's parents were alcoholics and my mother's didn't know her father very well and had an abusive stepfather and a very abusive mother who wasn't diagnosed with bipolar disorder until she was probably 75. So they came from these houses that were difficult and abusive and traumatic. And I don't think that they knew how to deal with jealousy of their kids being smart or jealousy of their kids having more privilege than they had growing up or any of the other things that happen when you become a parent. That, I mean, I think I say it all the time, like, God, my kids have it so damn easy. Like, because they do have it easier than me. And it is difficult, I guess, thought to have and not act on it in a way that is detrimental to your kids. And that's what happened. I mean, I think my parents saw Casey as biological and not as good as me. And they saw me as not biological and not as good, and not as good as them, or not the same as them. And I think in my father's mind, he wasn't smart. None of my parents would, I'm the first person in my entire, I think, family to go to college. And so in my dad's mind, Emily's smart because she's not related to us, but she's also bad because she's not related to us. And Casey's good because she is related to us, but she's not smart because she's related to us. And neither of those things are true.
Whew.
It's a lot.
Yes, that is a
therapy to unpack these layers.
If you like that clip, go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to catch up on all of our latest content. Don't forget to hit the notification button when you do subscribe so you can get updated every time we release content. We release content every day, whether it's an actual show or clips from the shows. So go ahead and subscribe, like, comment. Also, don't forget our Patreon page where you can find our Talking Straight-ish and After Hours Uncensored episodes. That's patreon.com/unsolicited perspectives. But once again, thank you again for listening to Unsolicited Perspectives. I'm your host, Bruce Anthony, and I'm going to catch you next time. I'll holla.